So, have you ever thought of yourself as an architect? Not for some fancy building, but for your own life? Today, we're going to walk through a really powerful framework for designing a future that's actually built to last. Let's jump right into the blueprint.
Man, it's such a nagging feeling, isn't it? That little voice in your head that says everyone else has it all figured out and you're just lagging. If that thought has ever, even for a second, crossed your mind, you are so not alone.
And this is where the creator of this whole framework, Dr. Lane Lasater, gets incredibly real. He's a retired clinical psychologist,
Yeah.
but he openly admits it took him until his early 30s to get his own foundation really sorted out. A big part of that was dealing with his own past. His main message, right here, is just to take a breath. Seriously, this isn't some kind of race. It's about building at a pace that's actually realistic for you.
Okay, so where does any good architect start? With the main supports, right? Well, Dr. Lasater's blueprint is built on 3 core pillars. These are like the load-bearing walls of your life. They have to be solid before you can even think about putting on the roof. You know, the big career, the deep relationships, all your biggest dreams.
And there they are, self, work, and relationships. The whole idea is that getting these 3 areas right is what truly prepares you for the heavy lifting in life, like a truly committed partnership or a demanding career. Without them, the entire structure is just shaky.
First up is the self pillar. Think of this as your internal architecture. It's everything going on inside. Your physical and mental health, what you actually stand for, and maybe the most important part, healing from the stuff in your past. This pillar is all about making sure you are standing on solid ground.
Next, we've got the work pillar. And let me be clear, this is so much more than just a job. It's about your skills, how you work with other people, and yeah, being financially independent. This is the pillar that gives you real power and stability out in the world. And the third pillar is relationships. This one covers the whole spectrum of human connection, from your partner to your best friends to your wider social circle. This is how you build your bridges out into the world.
All right, so we've got the 3 pillars, but a pillar isn't built in a day, right? It's built brick by brick. And Dr. Lasater calls these bricks developmental tasks. So let's take a look at the specific bricks you need for each of these pillars.
You know, what's really striking about the tasks for the self pillar is the honesty. It doesn't dance around the hard stuff. It starts with healing the past. From there, it's about mastering the day-to-day, your health, your routines, and then figuring out your own identity. Like, who are you really, and what do you actually believe in?
The tasks for the work pillar are just so practical. We're talking about building real skills, both the technical stuff and the people skills. Gaining experience, learning how to be a part of a team. And then, the big one, achieving that independence. Because really, that financial stability isn't just about paying your bills, it's about the freedom to design the life you want.
For relationships, it's all about healthy connection. That means mastering communication, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But here's a really key insight. A huge part of great relationships is actually self-reliance. It's about building a life that you love on your own, supported by friends, before you try to merge it with someone else's. That's the kind of experience that teaches you what a true partnership even looks like.
Okay, so now you know the blueprint, but how do you figure out where your own construction project is at? Well, it's time to put on your inspector's hat and do a little assessment of your own foundation.
The self-assessment process is actually really straightforward. You just take those 15 developmental tasks we just went over. For each one, you give yourself a score from 0 to 20. Then, you just add up the scores for each of the 3 pillars. Simple as that.
And the rating scale is super simple. 0 basically means haven't really started, 1 means you've made some real progress, and 20 means you've pretty much got it handled. And remember, this is not about getting a perfect score. It's about getting an honest picture of where you should put your energy.
And to make this really concrete, Dr. Lasater actually shares his own scores from when he was 31. His work and relationship pillars were pretty solid, both at 80, but his self pillar was lagging behind at a 65. It's just a powerful reminder that even the guy who created this whole system had his own construction work to do.
And he tells us exactly why that self-score was lower. For him, it pointed directly to a need for a real recovery plan to deal with some childhood emotional stuff and alcohol abuse. And that's the entire point of this system. The score isn't a judgment, it's a diagnosis. It's a map that shows you exactly where the work needs to be done.
Okay, so you've done your inspection, you've got your scores, what now? Well, now you get to create your renovation plan. This is where you take all that insight and turn it into real, intentional action.
I have to say, I love this quote from the source material. It just perfectly captures why this work is so critical, especially before you get into a long-term partnership. If both people have shaky foundations or dead batteries, it's almost impossible to build a stable life together that actually thrives.
And the source is crystal clear on this point. You can try to skip this foundational work, but you're not really saving anything. You're just pushing the cost down the road. The problems will show up later, and they'll be way more expensive to fix in terms of your time, your emotional energy, and yeah, your money.
So this all leads to your action plan. It's simple. First, you analyze your scores to figure out where to focus. Then you set clear, specific goals for the tasks that need work. And finally, and this is absolutely the most important part, you break those big goals down into tiny, manageable action steps you can literally start on today.
So forget about trying to build the whole house at once. Just focus on this one question. Looking at your life's blueprint, what is one single brick, just one, that you can lay for your foundation starting today?